Yes, people, what is good? Today we are going to be making a Latin Tech House track from scratch, and I'm really excited to be doing this. This is something new for the live stream sessions, so super excited to get into it. And we are only going to be using the new Latin Tech House Volume 2 pack from Tech House Market. And I've checked it out, and there is so much stuff here, literally everything you need to create a Tech House track. Latin style, tribal style, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into this. We're going to start with absolutely nothing and create a track completely from scratch. Hopefully we'll create a banger. So we're just going to wait for a few guys to sort of come in the chat. Jan Dyes, how's it going, man? If you guys could also just let me know about my mic. If it sounds all good, if everything sounds cool. Joan, how's it going? Yeah, so this new pack literally has like everything you need. So vocals, drums, real life instruments, literally everything you need to create a Latin Tech House banger. And today we're going to be going through making one together from complete scratch. Yeah, rip mic. Literally, I just turned on my mic to do this recording and I was just getting no input at all. So I'm using my laptop mic, but hopefully it's good for you guys. Cool. Looking forward to getting started with this one. I haven't made a Latin Tech House track in a while, so yeah, I'm excited to dive in. Just while we wait for some more people to come in as well, I'll just give you a brief overview of this new pack from Tech House Market, the Latin Tech House Volume 2. And I've honestly never seen a pack with so much sort of content. So obviously you got bass loops, one shots, and some nice FM stabs. Super fat. Then we've got some construction kits, and these are really cool. So you have like a demo sort of here. And then if you go into the folder, you've got everything that makes up that demo, which is super useful for getting inspiration and a good starting point. And it also tells you the key and the BPM, which again, super useful. If any more of you guys have joined, say hello in the chat. What's good? Cool. And drums as well. You've got fills, loops, and one shots, and a lot of them as well. Like so much selection to choose from. It's crazy. Then we've got some effects, every sort of effect again you would like, and we're going to be using this pack exclusively to create our Latin Tech House track today. And again, the instrumentals. Now these are like the live instruments, and these are really cool. Recorded really nice quality, like even the trumpets. You've even got hooks, licks, and one shots. So there's so much content to choose from. Then we've got percussion, which is obviously one of the main parts of a Latin track. And it also comes with a load of Serum presets. So if I just load up Serum now. As you can see, if I just find the pack, there is literally bass, effects, plucks, sequences, stabs and simps, which are all really nice. And then you have, I don't know how many vocals, but it is a lot of vocals. Yeah, a load of male vocals, more than I can even count. Same with the female. You've got hooks and spoken word, and loads of loops again, which is pretty cool. Miguel, what is good? Hope you're good, bro. Right, we've got 10 people in the house, so we're literally just going to give it 1 or 2 more minutes, and then we're going to dive straight in. And I'm just going to reiterate the importance as well. Well, first of all, let's save this. Let's go Latin Tech House. Cool. So yeah, I use a template for my tracks. So when I'm starting out, I've literally got everything that I need. in terms of like buses, and on my master chain I've got limiters, span as well, so it's super useful. I can dive straight in, and I don't need to worry about setting up like buses and sends and all this, and I've got all my channels. Not a lot of them might not be necessary, but I've got them there set up with samplers already ready to go. So yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing to keep in mind when sort of starting out a track. It's good to get or make a template, as it will save you a lot of time. Apologies about these. Cool. How's everyone doing? Good to see everyone. Hope you're all good. Cool. Alright, let's dive straight in. So, the first thing I like to do when creating a track is find something that sort of gives me some inspiration, or something that I sort of latch onto and it will spark an idea in my head. So that can either be like a vocal or a synth loop, or like an instrument, like a live instrument loop, like a trumpet or something, or even like a percussion loop. Something that I can sort of latch onto and that sort of gives me the inspiration to start an idea. So if we go into this pack, first of all, I'm going to look for some vocals. So if we go to vocals, let's check out the female loops first. Got some spoken word, and I'm just going to go through them until something sort of sparks my inspiration.
El agua corría por mis dedos mientras me miraba al espejo, bailando y gozando de todo en la vida, porque resulta que terminó siendo...
These are really cool. I want something that's sort of like fast pace, if that makes sense. So I want to create something like that, high energy.
Oye, que traigo el ritmo pa' que mueva la cola. No te preocupes, papi, porque ella baila sola.
And you just got to try and think how you're going to use these vocals in the context of your track. Okay, this is really cool. So in this vocal loop section, you've got the breakdown and the drop, which is super useful. But this vocal for the drop is really cool. Okay, so we're going to use this, and we're just going to check out the breakdown as well. Sick. Alright, cool. This is really, really cool, so we're just going to use this. So first of all, this is in F sharp minor at 130. So we're just going to set our project to 130 and drag these straight in. So we're going to have this as the verse, and then we're going to have this as the drop. Also, if you guys have got any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll be sure to answer them for you. Cool. So now we already, because this pack has got so much stuff and it's laid out so well, we've got a vocal breakdown and a vocal drop. Let me just turn up this limiter so you guys can hear. Sick. Okay, so again, even the automation and stuff is done for us on the vocal chain, on the vocal, sorry. So that's cool. So, right, let's dive straight into the drums. So we want to create something that sort of follows that rhythm of the vocal, because the vocal's very simple for the drop, but it's got a really nice rhythm, like sort of goes up and down. So we want to try and create something that sort of follows that. So first of all, we're going to go for the kick. And I've already got a sampler set up here, and the way I like to do it is if we go back to the pack, and then if we go to drums, one shots, kicks, and I like to select all of my kicks. Sorry, I've got to change this to a regular sampler so we can have multiple samples. And I like to take all of the kicks, and if you, in Logic, if you go to chromatic and then zone per file, it will map each kick to a different note on your keyboard. And we can just easily create a MIDI channel, and I'm going to try and do this as quick as possible for you guys. And then if we just create a kick pattern, sweet. Then we can literally just audition these kicks without having to drag them in and out, etc. And the important thing about this is we're going to do it with the vocal playing. So we obviously want the kick to match the vocal or work well with the vocal. So this is a great way of sort of doing that. So this one's also sort of like very heavy, so we're just going to highlight them all. And as the vocal is playing, we're just going to go through the kicks and see which one sort of fits. Straight away, this one's cool. It's got that sort of, I don't know, sort of texture, character to it. And then what I'll do is just sort of remember, so this is C#1, so I'll just keep that in mind. Okay, so this one's really cool as well. So C#3 and C#1. So this one, I think this one has a bit more sub. So cool. So we're going to go with this one. And then we're just going to EQ it slightly just so we can sort of hear the vocal still coming through. And also in Latin Tech House, the kicks are sort of quite snappy. So we're just going to sort of take off this end bit so it's quite a sharp, snappy kick. Cool. And now we're going to do, well, for you guys, I'm going to do the hat. Instead of doing it through that way, we're going to do it as a audio loop. So if we go open hat, and instantly we're just building a vibe here and a groove around the vocal to work around. So if we dive into the loops and then hat loops. Straight away that one works. So the way I like to do it is drag it in. So we've got it saved there, and as it's muted, we can carry on. Okay, this one's better, I think. Okay, we're just going to stop there because there's so many good ones that we could be there for days. So let's choose, or we can also layer some of these. Cool, so I think if we use these two, we'll use this one as the sort of closed hat, and then we'll use this one as the open hat. So if we sort of mix them in quickly, we'll mix as we go. Cool, now if we mix in this open hat, the way I like to sort of do it as well is just bring the volume down and sort of just bring it up without looking at the meter, and yeah, just basically until it sounds right. Cool, and I also like to colour code my stuff just to keep it neat. We're going to delete some of the channels that we don't need. Like I say, this template is just a sort of guide. So let's go into the clap. If we do this through the same method as we use for the kick. So again, we're just going to get all the claps. We don't have to go through them all. As soon as we find one that we like, then we'll just stick with that. Again, if you find two claps that you like, they have different characteristics, then we can layer them. Cool. Now let's do the same thing. If we go back to C1. Cool. And again, we want something sort of short and snappy that sort of matches the vibe of our kick and our vocal. Okay, this one's pretty cool, so we'll just go for a few more, but we'll keep F sharp in mind, F sharp 1. This one's also cool. Right, let's go back to these original ones. Okay, this one's really cool. This one's like short and snappy and punches through, so let's go with this. Let's just remove some of this sort of frequencies here. And maybe boost some of the highs as well. But always sort of EQ your stuff with everything playing. Again, we're just going to shorten this as well. And again, we can layer this with, as this is quite a sort of textured clap, we can layer this with more of a sort of standard house clap, if you like to call it. So we'll keep that one there. And this is quite a sort of low sound, so we can get something a bit higher maybe. This one's really cool. I know it's not sort of super high in the frequency spectrum, but it just works well. So I like to sort of match the length of my claps so they're super tight. Cool. Right, so now we've got our basic drums, our foundations. We can have a look at sort of adding in some loops. Again, you've got loads of loops here. So if we just look through, well, first of all, we're going to look for a ride. So when we make this track, we're going to need a ride at some point, and it's always good to just add in. And then once we've got it, we can mute it. Again, I'm doing all of this, like auditioning all of these sounds while the vocal is playing, so it's all in vibe. Cool, spot on. AJ, what's good, bro? Hope you're good, man. Just saw your announcement on your release. I'm nervous. Congrats, bro. That's wicked. Cool. So now we're just going to add in some top loops just to add a bit of groove. We're going to sort of add or look for a main percussion loop in a second, so we don't want something too heavy here, because we don't want, basically we want one main percussion loop sort of working very well with the vocal, and just a few sort of groove sort of loops around it, so we don't want anything too crowded. This one's cool, so if we drag this in, this one's also cool. It's got a nice like tom hit in there. This one sort of fits as well, but we want something like super tight that's going to match the vibe of everything else. That one's cool. Cool. So we're going to go with one of these, and I like to just sort of, again, just re-audition them and check how each one sounds, and then we'll go with the best one. Cool. Straight away, this one just stands out for me. So we're going to go with this. And we're just going to, again, because we're going to add a bass, we want to remove just the low frequency so it doesn't clash with our kick, while also trying to maintain some of the characteristics of this tom. Cool, and we've got this nice bongo at the end. Cool, and then we're going to add in this loop as well. This just sort of makes everything punch through, basically. We don't need to have it that loud in our mix because we've got our foundations, we've got our kick, cat and clap. So we're just going to call this hat clap loop, and it's sort of like a support loop. Again, mixing as we go, so we're just going to bring out the low end. As you can hear, just adds energy. Again, I'm just going to colour code this stuff as well, just so it's neat. Cool. So now we're just going to add in a shaker just to fill up the sort of frequency spectrum. And yeah, it's just a nice texture to add, especially in this sort of Latin style. There is one thing as well, like you don't have to use the loop straight out of the box. I did notice there was a clap in there, so we're just going to sort of cut that out because we've already got like 2 claps and our hat and clap loop, so we don't need that. We don't want stuff sort of clashing with each other. And it doesn't really match the characteristics of our claps either. That's just quite a loose sort of clap, so all we're just going to do is delete with the scissor tool, and then we can just sort of loop it. Cool. Cool. So to make some space for our drums as well, I'm gonna pan this one slightly left, this loop. And this one slightly right, maybe not that, maybe about 10. And that's just to create some space in our mix, and we can have our main elements down the middle. And we've got some nice sort of grooves going on and some space as well, some stereo imaging. And then for our shaker, I'm going to add a plugin called Tremolo. And this basically will just send the signal left and right. And we can set the rate here and the depth. So we don't want to go crazy with it, but so I think a quarter note's good. And then we can go something like this. Nothing crazy, just again, just to create some space. Cool. So now we've got our foundation of our drums. All we need to do now is look for a main sort of percussion loop that's going to drive this drum groove with our vocal. So if we dive straight into the percussion section, again we want something that sort of follows the groove of the vocal. So maybe something like higher, so like dun 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 dun, just to follow that groove, so everything's sort of working together. Also, we've already got our shaker, but we can have a look at maybe adding some claves, again, just to fill up the frequency spectrum. But we'll build that around our percussion loop. So now we're just going to search through something. We only need to find a part of one so we can chop it up, etc. So something like this could even work. So I like just the first part. So literally this, and then if we loop this, so that works straight away because it's sort of a half note groove, or sorry, half bar groove. It's following the same sort of rhythm as the vocal. And again, we can combine loops, so like maybe I quite like this second part, so maybe we could do this and then find something else to fill up the first part, just as an idea. And then maybe this. We're just going to carry on looking through, just quickly browsing through because there is a lot of loops here. So this is cool. I'm not sure if the sort of big stablet start works, but the actual groove of it works. Alexandru, what's good, bro? How you doing, man? So this bit's cool. I think this one works better because it's going from a higher note to a lower note, which is what our vocal's doing. So I think this works super well. So we're going to use this. This is more, this doesn't need to be our main percussion loop. This is more of a sort of low percussion loop. So if we take out the highs of this, we're just going to have it as a sort of low groove. Then we need to just find something that works well with this. So we join this together. Tell you what, if we go with this first one, because I really liked it, and then we can always adjust the key of it. So, okay, so maybe this second bit. So what we can do here is actually select this specific part of the loop, and then we can transpose it down a certain number of semitones just to sort of match our groove. So if we start with 7, because that always sort of works in like the key of stuff. So cool. So that sort of fits our vibe more. So if we copy this over and join it together, then we have a loop. And I'm just going to play it with the low loop that we've made. Cool. So something wasn't fitting quite right here. So don't be afraid to sort of move your stuff around. You don't have to have everything on grid. Cool, so let's play with our drums. Cool, sick drum groove there. I want to sort of try and add in some one shots as well. Okay, cool. So these, the hembes, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, tell me in the chat. But these are really cool. So we've got our loops, and now we're just going to create sort of nice rhythm using one of these one shots. So again, we're going to open up a sampler. And we're going to drag all of these, the hembe samples in. Or hembe, djembe, however you say it. And we're just going to sort of groove with what we've got here, with the vocal, and we're just going to see what we can come up with. So. Cool, so I think this one works really well. So we're just gonna, again, just play something in. And then we can have something different at the end. Just gonna quantize this. And we're just gonna loop this. set the levels right. I think I've looped that incorrectly slightly. We're just going to add some processing to this. So first of all, we're going to do a kickstart just to give it a bit more movement. Just sort of tighten it up. Then we're going to add some decapitator to sort of give it some extra bite. So what I've done there is with the decapitator, I've given it some saturation and I've just matched the sort of output in sort of volume before and after, just so I know that it's not just adding volume, it's actually doing some saturation. Then I've taken out some of this sort of mid 500 to 800 area, as it was taking up quite a lot of the frequency spectrum, and just boosted the highs just to fit better in the mix. So obviously we're just using a one shot. Cool. So we can try tuning it up and down to see if it fits better key wise. So we can try pitching it down too. And in Logic, make sure to turn on this flex timing and follow tempo, so the actual speed of it doesn't change. So I think that's already working way better. We can also send this to a bus, so we're going to call this the Hembo bus reverb, and we're just going to add a slight amount of reverb, just to give it again some sort of atmosphere. I like to use the Bright Hall. Cool. Right, let's add one more drum loop, something in the high end like a clave or something, and then we're going to move on because we don't want to run out of time. So we're going to look for a cowbell or a clave. I think a clave would probably work better in this instance. So that one clashes. So we can again change this loop so it sort of goes with our groove. So cool. Right, let's move on to some bass. So first of all, before we do that, I'm going to make sure all the low end is out of everything that I need it to be, just so we get a sort of clean mix when we're adding in our bass. So even this stuff like a shaker, I just like to cut up to like sort of 200 just to make sure. Clave. It's mainly these sort of percussion loops that may have some low end. Cool. Right, let's add in a bass. So we're going to be using one of the basses from the Serum presets from this pack. So what I'm going to do is, we are in the key of F sharp minor, as we know from the bass. So we want something pretty sort of simple, maybe half a bar, again just following that sort of groove with the vocal and the drums, etc. Again, we don't want something that's sort of really characteristic in the sort of high end and has got a lot of high information, because we don't want it to clash with our drums. That one could potentially work. This is really cool. I really like the sound of his tom bass. I think it really goes with the sort of vibe. And what I'm going to do is just bring down the sort of highs. Cool, I've just recorded something in. We can obviously adjust the notes, but this is something we maybe need to add a bit more groove to it. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think that works really well actually. And again, it's super important to sort of adjust your envelope, so your attack, decay, sustain and release, just so it works well with the kick. I'm just going to see about the low end of this. Cool, so maybe we can try adjusting this. So we're just going to add a sub in. And now we've got a super solid low end. We were just getting a slight click as well to start, so I'm just going to increase this attack ever so slightly. And I'm just going to add in some waves R bass just to boost up that sort of 50 to 60 frequency range, that proper sub area. Cool, so our bass is working really nice, so our kick is sort of covering that 60 hertz frequency spectrum range. Sort of here, and then you've got the bass, which is covering the sort of, it's got this range as well, but it's sort of working at sort of like 90-ish, so that's going to work really well. And obviously we're going to be using a kick start to gel this to our kick. So if we just choose the sidechain option in kickstart, now we've got a super solid low end. So If we just take a listen to our groove now, what we've got.
Estoy enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. 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 Al tiki-taka. Al tiki-taka.
Cool, so everything's working well together. Everything's sort of following this vocal groove, which is where we got the idea from. So the bass, so everything's working well together, which is exactly what we want. So cool. So let's look at adding in some sort of arrangement, some quick arrangement, and we can add in some effects and some more like synth stabs, etc. at the start. So if we close these drums for now, and I want to add in a nice sort of like re-space maybe. So I'm pretty sure there was a cool Reese in here, unless I'm missing it. Here we go, aggressive Reese.
Enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. 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 Al tiki-taka, al tiki-taka. Rompe la pista y dale bellaca. Estoy enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como Messi.
Cool. So I've just taken out the high end because it's a bit too sort of aggressive for our sort of vibe, but we can always sort of like start rolling it out when it gets towards the end of the build up. So cool, that's all we need. Quantize this.
Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando en la pista y dale bellaca. Enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. 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 Al tiki-taka, al tiki-taka. Rompe la pista y dale bellaca. Estoy enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el Barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka.
Cool. So we're obviously doing this re-space in F sharp as that's the key of our vocal. Cool, and we can also add in some drums here, so maybe, obviously not this main shot that we've got here, but maybe this. Tell you what, if we maybe have a look at using a synth maybe instead. Cool. I like that one from earlier. So if we go. You need to install the wavetables that came with the pack. I'm pretty sure I've done that, so I don't know why it's not working, but I'll have to check after this. Cool, so let's add in some more drums.
Estoy enamorado de tus ojos de gata. Cuando te mueves pareces el barca. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como Messi al tiki-taka. Jugando como...
Cool. Right, now let's try and add in some sort of synths maybe from Serum that we can use for this. Maybe a pluck. Cool. I think this sequence works really well. There was also some really nice sounds, like a pluck that I could do. But what I'm thinking is drop. So I have the sequence, because that's really nice playing. And then for these first 8 bars, have the regular drop that we've done. Then maybe add in the ride. And again, this is just ideas because we're just sort of doing it as we go. And the clave. So it's always good to just try out stuff because we don't know what will work. Cool. Wicked. So if we get this in, again, I'm trying to be as quick as possible for you guys. Check it out, okay. Damn, this sounds fire. If you play it in Mexico, we'll have the babies dancing. Sick, bro. Glad you like it, man. If you guys got any like suggestions as well or any questions, please do drop them in the chat. I'm always checking on it. So, yeah. So what I'm thinking here is we've got this cool sequence and like a pluck that we can build up. And this is like something that we can like automate, so we can automate the cutoff towards the drop. So something like this. Okay, I don't know if this is working with our thing, is this too overcrowded, but this stab is really nice, or this pluck, sorry, is really nice. Especially into the drop, it just fits really nicely. And what I'm going to do here, just so it's not sort of taking up too much space in the mix, is increase the stereo width of it, as it's pretty mono right now. Cool. So in this bit as well, we can add in some sort of vocal chops. So I have got a sort of vocal, I don't know if it's going to let me view it, maybe not. But what we can do is do like a vocal effects channel. Basically what we can do here is put the vocal onto this, and then I'm going to add a few effects. Oh, sorry, it does work. So I've got a cool vocal echo effect, and basically there's a channel strip saved, and this basically just loads up all of my plugins that I've got for here. So if we just take apart this vocal and play it, it's already got some really cool effects on it, so we can like do this and it saves us loads of time. Maybe we'll increase the feedback, that's really cool. Mix maybe. And then we could have the other sort of vocal playing halfway through the 8 bars. So sorry, this needs to be on the same channel, obviously. Cool. Now we're going to look at adding in some effects. So So these are really cool. We do need to have a look at finding a sort of bass that works. So we might let's look some more in the bass section. We can always extend the sustain. I also think we need to go down an octave. This is the one. Cool. So these serum presets are good as well because there's already assigned macros, so we can just have a play. Let's take off the EQ. Also, I'm going to look for a cool like drum fill that we can have before I drop. Something like this maybe. If we take out this last, maybe here. We just get the timing of this right. Maybe bring it down in level. Something simple maybe. Cool, that one works great. We can also add a tiny bit more reverb as well to this. And we're going to use the same send as we did for our other, I don't want to say this if I say it wrong, the Hembe. So we're going to use the same reverb. The Andai sounds dope and the pack is amazing. Yeah bro, it's such a sick pack. Like, I've literally just used sounds just from the pack and I've created something decent, I think. Hopefully you guys like it anyway. We can look for another drum fill in this sort of area here. That's cool. Cool. Okay, that's why this isn't working. So this drum loop has already got that small fill. So if we just delete that from this part where we want the new drum fill, I believe it's here. Okay, it's just this bit. Cool. So that should be good. Now we can do the same. We can copy it over, join it together. And now we can drag our other drum fill again. Do it here. Cool. Right, let's get some effects in here. Also, what I'm going to do here to create again more atmosphere is add a plugin called Endless Smile, which is really cool for just like reverb and like other effects like delay in one plugin. So for this bit we can automate the intensity, and what we can do is just have it really high here and slowly bring it down. We can also add in another loop halfway through. Maybe this as well. Cool, sounding sick. There's loads of effects here as well, but I'm just going to choose a cool uplifter. I'm just going to drag in this one because I know it's going to work straight away. So if we drag it in here as our main riser. And obviously we want it to sort of end when that vocal goes by itself with the pluck. Then we're going to do some impacts. This one's dope, so put this in, change this to impact. Again, keeping everything neat in our template. Glad you guys like the track as well. So what we're going to do is have this really cool like low hit. Bring it up in volume. When the vocal comes in by itself. So what we can do here is do a cool reverb thing as well with the vocals. So we can go like this, have it fade out, and then come back in dry on the drop. So like this maybe. Actually, let's have this finishing here. Let's give it a bit of a tail as well. Cool. So now let's look for a downlifter. This one's pretty cool. Change the pre-drop part. Cut the... What was that you wanted to cut? Wax? What were you thinking? The pluck, maybe? Park at the and then slap with tiki taka. Sweet. Let's give it a go. No, you didn't understand. Sorry, bro. What did you mean? Not the vocal. Cut that AA from the drop section that you have and then extend the pre-drop to create tension even more. What, and you mean loop that pre-drop? Loop that AAA section until the drop. Is that what you mean? Or have silence? Sweet, bro. I'll give it a go now. So you just mean this bit here, this? Is that what you mean? Just let me know. Also, I want to look at adding a quick stab somewhere in the drop, like a cool sort of like low, maybe FM. Something like this, maybe. sick. Let's do this in the second part. There's this one. Yeah, it's a sick preset. Yes, cool. I'll try that with the vocal. Let's also add a slightly bigger reverb so it has the tail at the end of it. Again, we're just removing that low end. We don't want it to clash with our bass. Maybe the timing of that is slightly off. No, I think it was good actually. Then we can add maybe like a deeper stab like after. Perfect. Something like this. That was terrible playing. That can be a lot shorter. Maybe slightly longer. Something not quite right about a stab. Let's look for another sound. That's the one. Let's open this envelope up slightly more. Maybe there's a filter or EQ. Sick. Probably don't need that much delay on here. Let's boost this high. Sick. I think we could possibly go down an octave as well with this. I think the machine one worked way better. Sick. Cool. You don't need that stab in the first part when the box is there. Potentially, it's a sound choice, to be honest, and you can. There's obviously preferences. The reason why I've done it is just because it's not really clashing with anything. Like, it's not a super high. It doesn't have much high frequencies in this synth. This stab. Where is it? So it's not really going to clash with the vocal. Whereas if it was something a lot higher, then yeah, definitely like it would clash. But I think this is working fine. But obviously, like, yeah, it's just a sound choice thing. There's no right or wrong to this. Cool. Right, let's take a listen through from what we've got. Cool. Maybe on the second part we could have the higher stab. Cool. I think in the second part as well we could also have another like synth or stab or some sort of sequence in this part. Just to sort of fill the space, but nothing too crazy because the groove's really nice, so we've got that. Something like that. I think we're going to go with that cool sequence that we found. Sick. And then we can have this section here just for the groove to sort of do the work. maybe up an octave. Again, we can maybe add some delay to this, maybe a 1/8 delay dotted maybe. That's pretty cool. Let's also add a reverb to the end of this delay chain, and we're going to automate the send of this delay, as we don't want it to be for the whole time. We just want it towards the end of this, so we want it pretty high so we can hear it in the mix. Maybe a regular cool. I'm just going to do one more trick as well that I like to do with my vocals, and that's to create a sort of reverse vocal atmosphere. Cool. We can also add in a nice drum fill here. And here. Cool. So if we go ahead and create a reverse vocal atmosphere, we can use this. Cool. So basically what we can do here is add a really long reverb to one of the part of the vocal, and then we can basically bounce it out and reverse it and use it as a really cool like riser basically. So all we need to do is literally just select one part, then we're gonna add a reverb, whatever reverb you like to use. Anyone would do the job as long as you can customize the decay so it's really long, so you can create a really nice sort of effect. Something like this, and literally just bounce it in your door and delete. So now we've got this, and all we need to do now is reverse. So now here we've got something like this, and obviously we can cut off this sort of end bit which had the vocal, because all we want is the reverb. Perfect. And then I just like to add a low end to cut out the muddiness, and I like to add a endless smile, so, and then just have it up around 30% so that when it ends it doesn't cut off straight away. Just so there's a small tail there. Cool. We can name this reverse vox, and we obviously don't want it massively long. So what we can do is put this maybe before this. So if we have it here, obviously line it up from where the vocal starts. Sebaz, hey, this is a bomb. Thank you, bro. Glad you like it. We're gonna end with. Cool. Right, so that is our Latin house track right there. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so I won't have a chance to arrange this. But we've basically created the idea completely from scratch using only the new Latin Tech House Volume 2 pack from Tech House Market, and literally the pack is insane. It has everything you need in there to create something like this. I've probably touched like 5% of the pack basically using this. Like, there's so much stuff. So 100% go and grab that. You won't regret it. Literally everything you need to create a sick track in the style of Latin house. So yeah, like, I could arrange. We haven't got time to arrange this, unfortunately, but the arrangement isn't what I sort of wanted to show you guys. It was the making of an idea using the pack. So we've done exactly that, and I'm super happy with the result. Hope you guys like it as well. Let's give it a listen through from the start. Sick. Sounds wicked. Super happy with that. Hope you guys liked that. Hey, this is a bomb. Banger, banger. Fire emojis. Sweet. Glad you guys liked it. Hope you guys also found something useful out of this live stream. I know we're going to be doing a lot more of these live videos from scratch, and it's super useful just to like see an actual real live stream in real time of like how a track is created. Are you going to finish this, bro? Yeah, I probably will finish this, to be fair. I really love this idea, but we just haven't got time today. I just wanted to show you guys basically the making of the idea using the pack, because arrangement is basically something completely different, And yeah, I like to get my arrangements spot on, so we could be here a while. But yeah, I just wanted to show you basically what we can do with the pack and how sort of versatile it is. And everything I've used here, literally everything is from that pack. So yeah, cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Yeah, if you're not in the Discord, please do join. There'll be a link in the description. Again, there's giveaways. Yeah, just a sick community of producers that you can ask questions, collaborate with, etc. And also like a lot of information on the packs and stuff, new releases, live streams, demo drops, etc. Bear, thank you so much for doing this. Helps so much with my own production, seeing you put it together. No worries, bro. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you took something away as well. It's always good to hear people finding it useful, so wicked, mate. Cool. Alright, so yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, make sure to join the Discord. Also subscribe to Tech House Market so you don't miss out on the next live streams, and I'll catch you on